Hi, this is Mrs. Jetman, and I have a project for you guys where you're going to learn all about balance. Okay, balance in real life is like a teeter-totter. If you think about something like a glue bottle in one hand and you have a pair of scissors in the other hand, what's going to be heavier? The glue bottle is definitely going to be heavier. So with balance in artwork, if we would put 3 scissors over here, that would be closer to balancing out a glue bottle and the scissors. So if they were on a teeter-totter or on a scale, they would be more similar in size. So 3 littles equals 1 big. Okay, so I have had students before make mobiles, which are hanging pieces, and then they have a little piece over here and a little piece over here, and then they're balanced, so it kind of equals out. So we're going to do that in art. Okay, and balance in artwork has to do with size of shape, thickness of line, and also you can do balance of color. So as we get started, you guys, I'm going to screen you down here to my white piece of paper. I'm going to be walking you through a little bit these steps. I would suggest using a pencil to start with and maybe going over that pencil line with maybe a permanent marker if that's okay with your parents. My first is what I'm going to call a non-example. I've got a line going down the middle, which kind of cuts my space in half. I've got my big glue bottle size over here, but I have 3 teeny tiny little scissors. Those don't balance out. You'll notice there's a lot on this side and not very much over here. So what we're going to do is kind of walk you through it. I will be giving you the prompts, so I'll be telling you what to do, and you will be writing them out. I'm going to go ahead and start mine with a dark stick so it shows up a little bit better. My suggestion to you would be to go ahead and work with a marker first. So I'm going to ask you first to draw any kind of line across the middle of the page. I'm going to start with kind of a baseball line. Notice on my other one I kind of did a curvy line. With my baseball line, I'm going to have some stitches on it. Then I'm going to think about one side of my balanced composition. I want there to be a big shape. So I could choose a circle, I could choose a square, I could choose a triangle. It would be up to me what I wanted to choose. I'm going to start with a triangle over here. That's my big shape, or my glue shape. And then over here I'm going to do 3 smaller shapes to balance it out. These are going to be my scissors from my demonstration before. See how the 3 shapes balance out the 1 big shape. 3 small balance 1 big. Somewhere on your artwork, I want you to draw a number. You can spin it and turn it and look for empty space. I like the number 7, so I drew a 7 there. On the opposite side, maybe you'll decide to draw a letter. Somewhere on your artwork, draw a letter. I'm going to draw a J for Mrs. Jetman. Somewhere on your artwork, you can add an arrow if there's room. Somewhere on your artwork, you could add, what do I call that? Tornado line. So small, bigger, 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 bigger. Now, usually when I'm doing this project, I am using a little bit bigger piece of paper. So my artwork looks really full right now, just because my paper is so small. Let's check the difference here. So I've got big shape, 3 little shapes, and it looks kind of balanced out. You can notice it's very different from this one right here, not balanced. So once we have our balance of shapes, this is called our composition, then we can move on to some color. So I did a similar composition here, and you can see I added some crayons. Actually, these were kind of oil pastels, but if you don't have them at home, go ahead and feel free to use some crayons. If you use non-washable materials, you can even add some paints to those artworks. Okay, so I've got my oil pastels done, and now I'm going to do some balance of color. You'll notice when I added red over here, I added red over there. When I had green over here, I balanced it off with some green over there, pink and pink, purple and purple. That's how we start to see that balance of color. So let's see, maybe I decide that I want to use some blue, and oftentimes when I have students doing artworks, I'll tell them make sure you fill in all your white space, but this is a project that's not quite as big of a deal. It's okay to have some white space on here. So I've got some blue up there, and maybe I'll decide to balance it out with some blue down here. Pick another color. How about we choose some purple? So I might choose to do some purple up here, and then I'll balance it out with some purple down on the opposite side. Now you can even just color in big areas, or you can add more texture, more details, more designs. The best part of this is there's a lot of ways to do it right. One thing I would be careful of if I were you and I were using paint is not to use colors on top of colors. Now you'll notice that my oil pastels that I originally put are kind of reflecting the paint, so the paint's not soaking into them. Okay, and that kind of works for that project, but if I do paints on top of paints, sometimes it makes kind of a yucky color. Okay, remember to give your paintbrush a bath in between colors. And if you don't have paints at home, totally okay to do this with markers or with crayons. Whatever supplies you have will work. Just keep creating, keep thinking. Okay, I can even add some dots with my paints. I'll just have to make sure that I leave it flat when I'm done. I don't want to pick it up because otherwise my colors will run. So I can always also do kind of this balance of texture as well. What I tell my students at school that is really helpful is every once in a while just kind of turn it, see if it's looking balanced, turn it again, see if it's looking balanced. So this is a project that I usually do with my younger grades, but actually it's one that I find myself doing a number of project examples for because it's really one of my favorites. I'm so excited that you were able to create with me today, and I hope you've enjoyed this lesson on balance. Take care.